This clip is going to demonstrate how to add a new member and register him in the same process to the GAA membership database. So I'm on the welcome option here in the top left hand side, and to add new members we hit the members panel, and that then will bring up the panels here running across the top of the screen. So we're on, by default then we're thrown to view members. A very similar screen is registration, but the view members is the one we want to actually add new people. So on the registration panel you see register, to register people who are on the system since last year or previous years. To add and register new people, we've got to go back to view members, and under view members we've got to hit this button here, add, and we've two choices: to add a member or to add a contact. A contact being someone like a sponsor or a physio, or someone we need on our system for our club but who isn't a member of the club. So when we choose add member, that brings us to a forum, and the forum has certain fields. So certain fields you'll see here have an asterisk on them, which makes them a bit more important than others. They're the mandatory ones, the ones that must be filled in, and there's some optional fields as well. So we'll just go to add in a new member, and we'll call the person James Ashcroft. So Ashcroft appears as the surname as well. For the date of birth you can type it in, but there's a picker here, you can just pick off a list. So if James Ashcroft was born back in the 1980s, and we'll say he was born on the 10th of February. So there it is. It's an American date format, but 87-2-10. That's 10th of February 1987. And gender here is male, so we'll leave that option as it is. And we'll say that the address is, we'll just put in the second part of the address, Kusen. We'll make up a phone number of 87-123-4567. I will try to register this individual. So when we do that, the system detects that there's some omissions, some errors. So it says address 1 must be filled in, and the GAA membership type must be filled in. So we put in the address 1 here. That's the one where the cursor is currently floating around. And likewise here, the member type is in with a pink background as well. That's also a gap there, so we'll make him a full member, and we'll put him from Athlone. So over here we can fill in his email address if we want to, home number, work number, and then we'll register James Ashcroft. So when we register James Ashcroft, it immediately throws us to another blank forum, so we can register a second person if we want. So now we'll register somebody else, and we'll call this person John Ainsworth. So John Ainsworth is going to have a date of birth. We're going to make him very young, so we'll give him a date of birth in 2002, and we'll make it February the 6th. So John is going to be a youth member in the club, and he's going to be a player. So we'll say his address is that's enough for John Ashcroft at the minute, or John Ainsworth rather. So we'll go to register John Ainsworth, hit the register button. So when we add John Ainsworth, the system lets us add him. So if we go back here to view the members, we'll see we have two members here. John Ainsworth and John Ashcroft have both been added. So they're both been registered as well. So when I was doing that, I didn't record the fact that John Ainsworth is a juvenile, and we might need his parental details. So I'm going to double click on John Ainsworth. We're brought into the same screen where we see his data again. So as you can see there, we can't edit his unique number, his GAA membership number. We can edit his name if we want to. We can call him John A. Ainsworth. So therefore the system that doesn't recognize the A bit and translates it out from Irish back to English. And what we might do here is we've got a box here to add the parental details. So we're going to tick that box, and what the system does is it automatically prompts us, and if there are Ainsworths on the system, we can search for them. So we could type in Ainsworth here and just see, as far as I'm aware, there are no Ainsworth. Okay, so you notice here that as I type the letter A, it prompts me to the various people whose name starts with A that's on the system. So therefore, when I go to AI for Ainsworth, it runs out of options and it can't find any. So therefore, I know that there's no Ainsworth in the system. So if I can't find the person, I can go here and add them. And the person can either be a contact or a member. So we'll call the person Paul Ainsworth. And we'll make his date of birth sometime before 2002 anyway. Give my date of birth back in the 83. So we'll make it February the 1st. And we'll give him the address in Bloomfield Drive as well. So it's Coosnath Loan, and we'll give the parent a phone number. So we'll make it 87-321-4567. And here, if Paul Ainsworth isn't a member, we can leave him as a contact, but if he is a member, we can choose member instead. So down below we can see the child that we just added a few moments ago. We can see John Ainsworth. So we've added John, and we're now adding Paul. So we've added John, who's the child. We're adding Paul now, who's the guardian or parent. So down the bottom, don't forget to hit the save button. So this is saving the parent, hopefully, that relates to that particular child. So as you can see, John Ainsworth is appearing here, but his father Paul isn't, because John is the member and Paul is a parent, but he's a non-member, and we've just added him as a contact. So if we want to search for people, we can search for contacts or members. So here, if we want to search for contacts, we can leave that option there as it is, contact by default, and then press search. So here we see Paul Ainsworth, and we see a few more people who are in there as contacts, not members. So there's Paul Ainsworth, and the phone number details are recorded earlier on. So again, to recap, to add a member, you go to the add button and you choose add member. And in our case, what we've just done is we added one case where we added an adult member and recorded his or her details, deliberately making a few mistakes and omissions in those fields that have asterisks. And then secondly, we added another member who was a juvenile player, and after adding the juvenile player, we then added his or her parental details. And in that case, in the Ainsworth case, John Ainsworth was the juvenile member, and Paul Ainsworth, the adult, the parent, was added as a contact because he isn't an actual member of the club, but he could have been added as a member as well if we had required that. So this clip hopefully has given you a grasp of how to add a new member to the GAA membership database.